And you are live.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I am going to call the April 14th, 2020 Bernards Township Committee meeting to order. Our first order of business is the flag salute. Well, the way that we're going to work this is due to the lag in time. We're going to have one Township Committee member recite the Pledge of Allegiance out loud while the rest of us do it silently in our head. So, Mr. Esposito, if you would.
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Notice was provided that this meeting is being conducted through virtual means due to the COVID-19 outbreak in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. And such notice was posted on the Township website, the Township Facebook page, and provided by email to the Recorder Publishing, Bernardsville News, Whippany, the Courier News, Bridgewater, tapinto.net, patch.com, and filed with the Township Clerk on March 31st, 2020. Any motion to go into closed session will be deemed to include a motion that the matters discussed at such closed session will be disclosed to the public when such matters are finally determined, and there is no further reason to prohibit the public disclosure of information relating to such matters. Public comment. Public comment is being accepted at this virtual meeting from Bernards Township residents via email to municipalclerk@bernards.org. Again, that is municipalclerk@bernards.org during this public comment period. Due to the meeting constraints of a virtual meeting, we request that the comments be limited to only current agenda items. To address this body, please email your name, address, and comments to municipalclerk@bernards.org when public comment commences. Okay, that being said. Roll call, please, Rhonda.
Mr. Carpenter?
Here.
Mr. Esposito?
Here.
Ms. Harris?
Here.
Ms. Fields will not be joining us today. And Mayor Baldessari?
Here.
Thank you.
All right. Next item of business, executive session. We do not have any executive session today. The next is public work session. None today. Reports, none today. We do not have any correspondence. So with that, let's go to our first public comment. And again, public comment is being accepted at this virtual meeting from Bernards Township residents via email to municipalclerk@bernards.org during the public comment period. Due to the meeting constraints of a virtual meeting, we request that comments be limited to current agenda items. To address this body, please email your name, address, and comments to municipalclerk@bernards.org at this time, and they will be read into the record. Public comment is now open.
Who has the phone that rings like that anymore?
No, I do. Sorry, the machine will catch it in a minute. Okay, I received one. Okay, this comment is from Edelstein, Riverside Drive. He says, slow down channel 15 Township channel so that a normal person can read the screen. Right now, only speed readers can watch and get information off of it. I guess that's when it's scrolling. Okay, then the next comment is, why is it necessary to have these meetings at 3 p.m. instead of normal time at 8 p.m.? As I see it, if there is no difference in time, then the government can bounce around town meetings at any time they feel like to narrow down the viewership. The only thing that must be met is a 48-hour rule to make it legal. It is bad enough that a resident is not being allowed to attend a public meeting to address public officials. I understand it comes from Governor Murphy and approved by the Senate and Assembly. That paves the way for this disconnect from the public, but it does not represent open government. Why have you not have the Director of Health on to explain what is going on? There is no one from the dais who ran the day-to-day operations of the health department. Therefore, no one from the public is able to ask questions about the COVID-19 virus to the responsible party that monitors the health of this community. I think the township should support a mobile COVID-19 testing facility within Somerset County near Morris County, with the strict requirements that are going to be put on the public of requiring state IDs and their doctor prescriptions. I don't think that the Somerset Hunterdon County site will be that busy nor effective. Okay, would anyone like for me to repeat anything?
Sorry, who is that from?
And this is from Todd Edelstein, Riverside Drive.
Todd, thank you for your email, Todd. And I think, as you well know, our Board of Health, Lucy Forgione, provides constant updates and constant information on what's happening around, regarding the coronavirus and COVID-19, especially here in Bernards Township. All you have to do is get on that website and pull up, a plethora of information that she's put out, her and her staff have put out over the day. So I would encourage you, if you haven't already done so, and every resident, for that matter, too, if there's any questions or anything in the gray area that you don't understand, visit our website, our Board of Health website, that has all of this information on it. And unfortunately, that's the way that that things are going to be done for the foreseeable future. We can't we can't congregate. So if you have any questions for our Board of Health, for Lucy, give her a call. I know she's accessible, and I know she's got the answers. So I recommend that. And thank you.
Okay, I believe we got another one. Okay, this is from Padici of 73 Sycamore Court. It says, good afternoon. I want to thank the mayor, the TC, and the township staff for the daily and informative updates about the impact of the pandemic on our township. The care for the residents is why we are the 4th best town to live in New Jersey.
And who is that from, Rhonda? I'm sorry.
From Kippy Padici.
Thanks, Kippy. Why don't we give it another 2 minutes, Rhonda, and then what we'll do is if anybody has any questions that are coming up that's watching this, chances are you have access to our agenda. Go ahead and put your questions together now so that when we come to the second public comment, just hit send or send them whenever so that we can get to them then. But I think let's give it 1 more minute and then we'll move on in the agenda.
Okay.
If everybody else is all right with that.
Sure.
And that would make it 8 minutes that we've had public comment open. Okay, Mayor.
All right. We're going to move on now. The next item up are Township Committee, Board and staff comments. Before we start these, I just want to start off by saying, our sincere thoughts and prayers go out to our committee woman and our colleague, Janice Fields, who unfortunately lost her father last night. So Janice, you are, you're in our thoughts, and it's a very difficult times, but if there's anything that we can do, by all means, just let us know. So with that, I guess I'll start with Pat. Pat Monaco, do you have anything?
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to extend my condolences to Janice Fields on the loss of her father. A couple things. One, I wanted to thank Township staff on continuing operations as we navigate through this current crisis. They're doing a great job. I want to thank them. Also, I want to bring to everyone's attention that Public Works will be paving the municipal lot on the corner of Maple and Henry Parati's lot in the next couple of weeks. They've discussed with all the merchants there. There's no one in the lot. It's a good time to just get it done, and we'll be pretty good shape here. It's a project that had been started already, so it doesn't violate the governor's executive order in that respect. The last point I want to just to speak to is the testing site in Somerset and Hunterdon County that they jointly set up. And I know Todd had a comment. It's very difficult to set up these sites, and a lot of it is getting the testing kits as well as the PPE. It took a great effort of a lot of people to get it there. So I have some preliminary information that's on our website. It's at Raritan Valley Community College. It'll be done between the hours of 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. The dates are April 16th, 17th, and 20th. As of right now, you must be a resident of Hunterdon or Somerset County, age 5 and above, must show proof of residency at the site, such as a driver's license or state-issued identification. You must be exhibiting symptoms, fever, cough, shortness of breath, must have a valid prescription or written order from a physician. Patients must arrive by car and have an appointment. There is a website, somerset-hunterdon.add-labs COVID test, A-D as in David, labs, covidtest.com. And there's a phone number as well for residents that don't have a computer, 908-237-7150. That's all I have, Mayor.
And I believe Chris put that up on our website, and also the flyer up on our website and all on our social media pages as well. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And then I will, I'll just reiterate that when I shoot that out, and then and remind our residents later in a letter. Mrs. Pisano.
Yes, Mayor. I just would like to commend you, Mayor, on your constant and continual communication with the residents via your almost daily letters, and your leadership behind the scenes as well. You're navigating a lot of people's ideas, and some complaints and pointing them in the right direction, and appreciate that. You're also navigating a lot of executive orders and declarations and providing guidance to staff as well, which we appreciate. I also want to just thank the whole TC for their support, because that's really important. And I also just want to recognize Pat and Jen, Pat, our Township Administrator, and Jen Gander in Recreation, who are doing a wonderful job representing the township, doing a lot of problem solving and putting in a lot of creative thought in how to do things in a different way. And our IT department, so that we can continue to work at home and that also get the message out to people. And of course, the people in the health department and the police department as well. But I really think that the town has done a really terrific job in being able to continue to function.
I agree. Thank you.
So,
Okay.
thank you all.
Ms. Harris.
Okay, so first and foremost, Janice, I extend my deepest sympathies, and I'm sending a lot of love. I'm so sorry to hear of your loss. I also really want to thank our township staff, the township committee members who've been a big support to the residents, but to me personally, if I had questions, you're all very gracious. I can reach out to you, and I really, really appreciate that. We're living in overwhelming times. So I appreciate the fact, and I think I've thanked staff before, but you know, I'm consistently amazed. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I would just add to some of the comments to Mr. Edelstein that if he's not signed up for the RAVE program, that he should do that. I get daily reports. You can get them via email, landline, text message, and they're Lucy Forgiones, our health professional in town, our health officer, as well as Mr. Baldessari, Mayor Baldessari's daily letters. So I would encourage him to do that. It's a wealth of information, and it comes to you in multiple or various ways of your choice. I also just want to thank the residents, because there's so many people who step up and volunteer. And as I said, these are overwhelming times, and this is when we need to take care of each other. So keep it up, Bernards Township. Thanks.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Yes, I'll add my condolences to Janice and her family. It's a tough time and no time is a good time, but this is an exceptionally tough time to experience that type of loss. And don't want to repeat everything that everyone else has said, but you know, the residents, my fellow committee members, everyone at the township staff, appreciate everything that everyone is doing. I'll just take a quick moment now then to just mention one other item on our consent agenda. As we recognize Autism Awareness Week, I wanted to give a special thank you to our police and the PBA for their fundraising efforts with the special little badge that they had this year. They initially sold, had 300, they sold them out with a donation. They purchased some more, they're still available. There's a link to where to purchase them on the web. All the money is being donated to special needs and parents for exceptional children in Bernards Township. So I just wanted to recognize our PBA and thank them for that.
Thank you. Mr. Carpenter. You're on mute.
Good catch. Thank you. There's several things I'd like to discuss. The first is I want to recognize the way all the groups in town that are reaching out to help individuals are working together. I'm a member of the Rotary Club, and we've been farmed out grocery deliveries from a group called Basking Ridge Helping Basking Ridge. So it's just been interesting the way we've teamed up with them, and we try to handle some of their overflow, and they farm out deliveries to I don't know who else. but my wife Lauren and I took several deliveries out last Friday, and that was a great experience. Also from the Rotary Club, I want to mention something that's come to my attention from our Rotary District, which covers a significant portion of New Jersey. There's this initiative called Volunteer Surge, and it's sponsored by the Yale School of Public Health and several other private businesses, LinkedIn, other big corporations. And it's a program. The idea is to get 1 million or 2 people volunteering within the next several weeks. And there's 2 channels on it. One is you can volunteer, receive some training, and take a more administrative role in backfilling for health workers who are on the front line dealing with the COVID virus. The second is a more intensive training, which is 30 to 35 hours. It's all online. That enables you to work more with patients to backfill those public health workers and nurses and doctors who are working directly with COVID patients. So this isn't to get anyone involved exposed to people with the COVID virus, but to backfill for those who are handling those tasks. And the latter track could actually lead to employment in public health if that's something that someone has an interest in. So I'll see if we can get the information about Volunteer Surge up on our website. It's www.volunteersurge. Just make sure it's com. volunteersurge.com. Okay. And as to Mr. Edelstein's comments, you know, Todd, we're doing the best we can, and I think we're doing a good job trying to keep the government and the municipal staff as accessible as possible. I don't know why we couldn't move our meeting back to regular time, since we're all of us are remote now. There's no need, right? There was a time when some people would be at town hall and some wouldn't, and we had to worry about the curfew. But if we're all doing it remotely, why don't we go back to our regular time? And finally, I want to say that having sat through several emergencies over the years, various outages that I mentioned in the past, I don't think I've ever seen the staff and the town do better. We're really on our stride here with learnings from every other episode that happened, and Mayor Baldessari doing an outstanding job. Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Mr. Bellardo.
Mayor, everything is quiet on the legal front. Nothing to report for this meeting, sir.
All right. Quiet is good. All right. Thank you. All right. I just have a couple of comments. I'm not going to, well, obviously I'm going to echo, you know, everything, our thanks to everybody, our staff, my colleagues on the dais. I know I'm, you know, the letter comes out from me, but I want everybody to know and understand that all of us are behind the scenes doing as much as we possibly can to help out our residents here. And I'm proud to serve with each and every one of my colleagues on the dais, and our township staff is just, you know, unsurpassable. They're brilliant, and between Pat and Jennifer and Chris Kiriako, and then our emergency management coordinator, Lieutenant Hurst, Chief Shimsky, our entire police department, first responders, you know, just our health officer. I mean, Lucy is just on this constantly. So everybody, I agree with Mr. Carpenter. Everybody's just really, you know, taking this to heart and doing an outstanding job. And I'm proud of each and every one of them. A couple of things I wanted to mention. I saw this in the paper. Ann Ryan was a resident at Fellowship Village, and she recently passed away. She was 91 years old. I did not know that Ann was our library director at Burnett Township. She served on the library board from 1966 and for 19 years. So I just wanted to give a shout out to her family and extended family and send our condolences on her passing. The senior helpline that Pat Monaco alluded to earlier, that is up and running. Thank you very much to Jennifer Gander and the Parks and Recreation staff for, you know, taking a central role and working with Basking Ridge, helping Basking Ridge, as well as, you know, St. James and St. Mark's and a number of other organizations that are helping out, that are providing the volunteer base. That these are vetted organizations that really step up during a time of crisis, and they've been doing it, and we're, you know, just so grateful to them. For our senior residents, if you can't go online, the phone number again is 908-204-0777. And when you call, you need to provide your full name, your home address, your phone number, the assistance that you're requesting, and if you have any special needs. please use the service. That's why we put it up there. I had spoke with the Basking Ridge Business Alliance this morning. Several members from there to bring them up to speed, I guess, on what the scenario is here in town, and it's like this everywhere. I mean, it's no different. We've been dealt something that we've never had to deal with before, and I think everybody is stepping up. I want to thank them for their help in reaching out with the township to see what we both can accomplish. They're constantly reaching out to our businesses. They're constantly reaching out to our residents to see what additional information that they can provide that will help our businesses. So, it's really just the community coming together and helping each other. And I couldn't be, more elated to how everybody is responding to this. And I want to thank everybody. So with that, we'll move on to the next item, which is fire and rescue appointments. We do not have any of those tonight. Unfinished business, nothing. And that brings us to new business, Rhonda, which brings us up to resolution 20200197.
This is authorizing the mailing of estimated third quarter tax for 2020 for the tax bills. And Sean is with us and can explain that a little bit.
Okay, perfect.
Sure. So like Rhonda said, this is seeking authorization to mail estimated tax bills for a third quarter. Anytime we feel that there might be a delay in a tax rate being struck by the county tax board administrator, Township has the authority to issue estimated tax bills based on an estimated levy. And that's what this resolution is doing. And that's based on the governor's announcement that the state's fiscal year is being extended through September 30th. And therefore their budget will be delayed until that time. So this resolution just seeks your authorization to send those estimated third quarter bills.
Gotcha. Okay. Do I have a motion on 2020-0197?
I'll move the resolution.
A second?
I'll second.
Any discussion or questions for Mr. McCarthy? Rhonda, is this a roll call or up and down?
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito. You're on mute.
Sorry, yes.
Okay. Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Baldessari,
Yes.
motion carries. Thank you.
Next up is resolution 2020-0198.
This is a resolution authorizing the issuance of the not exceeding $10,000 for tax anticipation notes for,
You forgot a couple of zeros there, Rhonda.
oh, I'm sorry, for 10 million.
There you go.
What's the diff?
Tax appreciation notes for 2020 of the Township of Bernard, the County of Somerset, New Jersey. And again, Sean can provide more information on this.
So I guess first and foremost, most important thing to note is the township is not issuing any debt at this time, nor do we at this time have the need to issue debt. We're setting up this authorization as a precautionary measure in the event that we see a large, heavy level of tax delinquencies or some legislation comes down from the state, either deferring property tax payments or extending grace periods. Really just making sure that we have all the tools available to us to make sure that we can keep the lights on and keep the township running.
And Sean, our payments are due. I mean, that's, when there's no extension or anything like that. Like when it's time for us to make our payment to the Board of Education or whatnot, that is, that money is due. So regardless of what happens with delinquent property taxes or anything like that, or if that date is extended, we are still bound by that unless we receive, through executive order or whatever, by the state, a remedy from that to push down. So this is really obviously just a precautionary measure at this point in time, in case of the revenue shortfall, correct?
Yep, that's absolutely correct. We are the collecting agency for all the taxing districts, Board of Education, county, and those districts get paid first, regardless of what we're able to collect. So those obligations would still be there, unless, like you said, there were some remedy through legislation for that. But, we have to proceed as if, assuming we'll have to make those payments.
Got it.
That's exactly what this is doing.
Okay, great, thank you. Motion on 2020-0198.
So moved.
Oops.
I believe Ms. Harris had that. So Mr. Esposito, you want a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, Rhonda.
Mr. Carpenter,
Are you on mute?
He disappeared.
he
Just left.
disappeared. Okay, Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito,
Yes.
Mayor Baldessari.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's 3, so passes, but I don't know if we want to wait.
Oh, it passes. Let's move on. Unless you want to wait for, unless anybody wants to wait for him. I'm sure he's trying to get back on right now.
Yes, and that even if, Sean, would we need a 2/3 vote on this, or would a majority be okay on this? I think it's okay because it's not authorizing the
I
spending.
think a majority should be okay.
A majority would be okay, so we're okay.
Okay. All right, then. Next item on the agenda, Resolution 2020-0201.
This is in support of a mobile COVID-19 testing facility within Somerset County.
Okay, can I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
okay, motion carries.
Okay. And for the next resolution, I am recusing myself as this has to do with a police matter. So I'm going to ask the deputy mayor to take over the meeting at this point.
Well, Rondo, can we move on and come back to this? Because we don't have a quorum without Jim and Janice. And-
That's right. That's right. Mr. Carpenter fell off the line here. Hold on.
Yeah, you need to get Mr. Carpenter back.
Yeah, I'm going to.
I texted him just so that he's aware that he's not on. Well, there he is.
Here he is.
I don't know what happened.
Okay,
All right, with that,
Well, Rhonda, why don't we also add Mr. Carpenter in on the roll call vote on the bond issue and see if he's a yes or a no on that?
and Mr. Carpenter, this is for resolution 2020-0198, authorizing the issuance of a not to exceed $10 million tax anticipation notes. If,
I vote yes. Thank you, Mr. Bellotta.
That's your 4.
okay, thank you.
great, thank you. And with that, I will now turn it over to the deputy mayor for the resolution 2020-0202.
Thanks, Jim. Rhonda, do you want to?
Okay, this is for emergency personnel appointment, Mark D. Leopold as a special police officer 2 in the police department.
Okay. Pat, I don't know if you want to say a few words. I mean, this was pursuant to, I guess it's Executive Order 115 from the governor, that we could, have the people in waiting if we were to have such an emergency where we would lose a significant portion of our police force due to the virus. I think people should be familiar with Mark. He was captain in our police force, very familiar with the town, retired after serving the town for over 25 years. So I think it's a good move for the chief to have Mark available in such emergency. Is there any other discussion or any other comments?
Yeah, Joe, I concur with your assessment of that. Executive Order 115, and it's basically it just getting someone on the rolls in case we have a worst case scenario.
Right, and there's zero cost to the town to adding him on as a special law enforcement officer. So it's a very smart move and prudent move on our part, or on the chief's part.
Yes.
Ron, is it a roll call or is this just a,
I would do a roll call on this.
okay.
So should I move to approve it?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, can I have a motion? Thanks, Jim.
I'll move to approve it.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, now we're on the roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
and motion carries. Okay, now,
Back to you, Mayor.
All right, next item on the agenda, the consent agenda. Items listed within the consent agenda portion of the meeting have been referred to the Township Committee for reading and study. Linked to the posted agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion of the Township Committee with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is required, the item may be removed from the agenda by the Township Committee action and placed on the regular agenda under new business. Are there any items under the consent agenda that anyone would like removed? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move the consent agenda?
I'll move the consent agenda.
I'll second. Sorry.
All right, roll call, please, Rhonda.
okay, Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Baldessari,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. Next item is approval of the minutes, March 16, 2020, open session and executive session, and 3/24/20 open session. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes? And if so, can I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
All right. And last item before we have public comment, ordinance number 2445.
This is accepting a wetlands conservation easement and a stream buffer conservation easement on property located at 510 South Maple Avenue, Block 3301, Lot 2, from Anthony and Maria Splendorio to the Township of Bernards, and this is an introduction.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Mayor, I move that ordinance 2445 be introduced on first reading, advertised as required by law, and scheduled for a public hearing on 4/28/20.
All right. Second.
I'll second.
All right. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Rhonda.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Baldessari,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right, which brings us to our second public comment portion. Again, public comment is being accepted at this virtual meeting from Bernards Township residents via email to municipalclerk@bernards.org during this public comment period. Due to the meeting constraints of the virtual meeting, we request that comments be limited to the current agenda items. To address this body, please email your name, address, and comments to municipalclerk@bernards.org at this time, and they will be read into the record.
Okay. We do have a comment from John Crane, 39 Decker Street. He says, thankful to be a resident. With all the good people in the township working through our tough times. In May, the township will turn 260 years old. We've gone through tough times in the past, and we will get through this with our hardworking residents and associates. Also, my condolences to Township Committee, Janice Fields as well.
Thank you, Mr. Crane.
Thank you.
Okay, and we also have a public comment from Todd Edelstein. Thank you for answering 1 out of 5 comments I made in the first session. Thank you, Mr. Monaco, for your comment. Thank you, Mr. Carpenter, for your comment. That is what I was saying. My condolences to Mrs. Fields.
Isn't that 2 out of 5?
Does look that way. Right. Okay. I don't see any more at this time, but you can give it a couple minutes.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we'll give it a couple of minutes. We don't know
Right.
what's going on the other end.
Sounds like someone's playing Super Mario.
Not here.
I'm sure there's an Xbox game going on in my basement. but-
Oh, okay. There we go.
I think what we'll do, Ron, is we'll give it a couple more minutes, and if nothing comes in, I encourage anybody, if they have if there's a problem with the feed, or if it's just slow and we didn't get to you, go ahead and email us the question that you had on any agenda item, and myself or my colleagues will do our best to get right back to you with an answer on that. I think that instead of staying on.
One thing that I wanted to mention, though, is that we had advertised, Sean, for the public hearing for the budget. We had advertised a time of 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the reason for meetings at 3. At the time we introduced, we have to publish the date and time of our adoption, which would be the 28th at 3 p.m.
Well, that's something that I guess, because that time isn't set in stone. So that's something that I think we could all discuss offline and determine whether or not we want to bring that back. All right. So again, to all our residents, if you're out there watching and you haven't had any time to go ahead and if you're on a delay or something like that, and we're moving on, please feel free to email us your question or your comment, and we'll do our best to get back to you with an answer on that. Now, having said that, I'm going to take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care and stay safe.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Same.
Thank you.
Good night.